Now let's see if we can round some whole numbers. I want to consider the number 9,364, and I want to round that number to tens. So I need to see what number is in the tens place, which is the 6, and I'm actually trying to decide which number of tens is this closer to. So I really want to know, is the number closer to 9,360? Or is it closer to 9,370? If we're rounding to tens, we're trying to see whether it's close to 6 tens or whether it's closer to 7 tens. So if we look at the number 64, you can see that 64 is closer to 60 than it is to 70. So when we rounded to tens, we'd round to 9,360. Let's look at another one. Let's take the same number, and this time let's round it to hundreds. Okay, if we were going to round to hundreds, we'd be concerned about how many hundreds we have. Okay, we have 9,364. So we want to decide whether it's closer to 9,300 or whether it's closer to 9,400. Well, we decide that by looking at the 364. 364 is closer to 400 than it is to the 300. So our number would round to 9,400. Let's look at one more example. Let's look at 9,364 again, and this time let's round it to thousands. Well, if we were going to round to thousands, the 9 is in the thousands place. So we have to decide whether we're closer to 9,000 or whether we're closer to 10,000. So we need to decide, are we closer to 9,000 or are we closer to 10,000? Well, if we look at the rest of the number, it's 9,364. The 364 with the 9 is closer to 9,000 than it would be to 10,000. So we'd round to 9,000. Let's look at a different number. This time our number is 899,250, and we want to round to hundreds. Well, the 2 is in the hundreds place, and we're going to try to decide whether to keep it 200 or to round to 300. So we're trying to decide whether it's closer to 899,200 or whether it's closer to 899,300. Now, this particular one is exactly halfway in the middle. When a number is halfway in the middle, when we see the 50 or the 5, we generally go up instead of staying where we are. So we would round the 250 up to 300, and we'd say it rounds off to 899,300. Now, something else you can do when you round, instead of writing down the two things that's between, some people like to round just by saying, find the hundreds and then look at the next digit. If the next digit is 5 or more, go up. So if you were doing this, you'd write down 899, and then when you came to that 2, you wouldn't write down 2, but you look at your next digit, and since it's 5 or more, you would take the 2 and change it to a 3, and then you fill in your other places with zeros. So you can just find the digit and look to the right to round, or you can write down the two things that it's between and decide which it's closer to. Okay, let's look at another one. Let's round this one, 899,250, to thousands. Okay, this first 9 would be in the thousands place. This time, let's do it by just looking at the digit to the right. If we looked at the digit to the right, it will tell us whether to leave that 9 or whether to take it up 1. When we look to the right, we see a 2, and since that's less than halfway, less than 5, we leave it the way it is. We leave the 9 the way it is. So we'd write down 8, 9, 9, leave the 9 the way it is, fill in the other digits with zeros. So we'd have 899,000. Now let's take our number and round it to 10,000s. So if we're looking for 10,000s, this is ones, tens, and a thousands group. So that 9 in the middle is in the 10,000s place. So we're going to just look one digit over and let that digit tell us whether to keep that 9 or whether to take it up 1. Well, since the next digit over is a 9, that's certainly 5 or more. So that means we have to go up 1. Now, when you go up 1 on that 89, it's a little different because when you go up 1, you actually have to carry it over and make that a 90. So you end up with a 90 there. So instead of writing 89, we go up 1 and write 90, and then we have to fill in everything beyond that place, that circle place, with zeros. So we put a 0 here, and then 3 more zeros. And so 899,250 rounds to 900,000. I now have some more practice problems for you to do. Number 1, use the correct symbol in the blank. Less than, greater than, or equal to. So you have 6, 9, 1, 3, 4, 2, 5, a blank, and 95,000. So you're going to put the correct symbol in the blank. Part B, 6 million, 10, then a blank, 6, 0, 0, 0, 0, 010. Put in the correct symbol, less than, greater than, or equal to. Number 2, round 14,528 to the indicated place. First, part A says to round it to tens. Part B, hundreds. Part C, 10,000s. Number 3 says to round 699,259 to A, hundreds. B, 10,000s. C, 100,000s. Copy down these practice problems. Once you've got them copied down, cut your tape off and work your problems. When you're satisfied with your answers, cut the tape back on to check them. Here are the answers to our practice problem. 1A, greater than. B, equals to. 2A, 14, 530. B, 14, 500. C, 10,000. Actually, A was 14,530. B is 14,500. C is 10,000. 3A, 699,300. B, 700,000. C, 700,000. If you disagree with any of these answers, stop the tape and go get help. This concludes Lesson 1. Hope you'll join us for future lessons.